GM? Happy
GM,
Monday.
GM, GM.
GM.
How you guys doing? Good weekend?
I'm okay. I'm still having that Monday kind of get into the groove
He's
of things.
hungover again. Crazy weekend. Nice. Alrighty. Shall we jump straight into it?
Yes.
Fish, you're gonna give us some Bitcoin analysis, and then I've got some alt charts to share, and then the boys will bring us to the trenches afterwards. So
Right. So let's get into it. Bitcoin. So all through May, we were super impulsive. Most of it, I drew out this parallel channel, and we finally broken out of it. So I would say, like on the high time frame of things, we are definitely still bullish if you zoom out. Just because we broke all-time high and now we're coming back down doesn't mean that this is like the top and we're down. We're destined to go lower than 75K. I still think on the high time frame of things we're trending up. However, we are currently correcting, and I do think this correction can go anywhere from a shallow pullback, so like the 236 level, down to all the way to even you know low 80s, even high 70s, right? It only gets invalidated when if we go below this level, this low here. Otherwise, so like if it goes below that, that means that this whole impulsive move is invalidated, and therefore we're probably destined for lower. But I think for the now, like we are definitely correcting. The question is how far do we correct, right? The most bullish case is this purple arrow. So like we literally just correct here and then we go up further. The less bullish case is we have a deeper correction. Now, the deeper correction can go, it can go anywhere really. However, you have to note that on this move up, we have a huge series of higher lows, right? I said this before in previous streams. And the problem with these higher lows is that once they get tapped, it can cause a cascade downward. So I do predict that if we start touching, say, 94, 93 levels, it could push us down quite nastily down to like low 80s. So that's something to be wary of. But in general, I would say that, we are correcting. I do think that most of June, we will not see an all-time high again, but we will correct. And then probably sometime in July to August is when we'll start to see new all-time highs again. So TLDR, I think the strategy for this month is like, don't overtrade the chop, right? It's going to be very, very choppy, very, very corrective. Take scalps here and there, and kind of just see like, how price reacts at certain levels. I think near the end of this month is probably when you want to get long for the new high, but you take it like day by day and level by level. If we go to order flow side of things, so one of the things that I was worried about before was on this move up from 102K to 112K, we built up $7 billion of OI, which is absolutely
so
insane.
Fish,
But
we
a
can't
lot of
see
it has.
we're just looking at the chart.
Oh, sorry. Let me change it. Yep. So this is order flow. One of the things I noticed, I said before, is that the thing that worried me a lot was on this move up from 102K to 112K, we built up $7 billion of OI, which is really, really high. Like that's insane. High OI on its own is not bearish, but the problem is like if it fails to make new highs, then a lot of that will start to unwind. So we are going to see, most of it has unwound now. I think about, more than 50%. But there's still some OI left. So I would not be surprised if we start to go down a little bit lower. That's something to be wary of. Also, so in the order books, right now we have good support at these levels, 103K. But we do have some resistance up here at 105 and some more 109. So I think, I personally think that we might see something like, let me just remove this. I would not be surprised if we make another move up like this, like that. And then once we get 109K, people start to get very, very bullish, only for us to move down again. That's kind of like what I'm thinking right now. So, if you're long here, I would only long for a scalp and take profits very aggressively. There could be case like, if we get to the level and it looks weak, I would also be willing to short it as well. So that's kind of like my take for the rest of this month of June.
So for this week, are you expecting a little bit of relief before like the decision point, or do you think it is possible that we just bleed out from here?
Honestly, I think like I'll be surprised if we don't get a pump because you can see here, right? The blue line is the perp CVD. So we are still making higher lows here, but the perp CVD is making a lower low, right? So that tells me that limit bids are absorbing market sells. So it does feel like the market is just very aggressively trying to short since last week. Like last week, it was just going down and down and down. I do think that we're probably due for a relief bounce soon, but I think in general, on the time frame of things, we're due for lower, definitely below 100K in my opinion.
Are you placing any bids yet, or do you usually wait until you get there to decide?
I'm currently scalp long, but like I'm playing for a small bounce. I'm definitely maybe I'll leave some for all-time high because like, you know, the thing about Elliott waves, for example, right, is even if you correct, you can still correct like that, right? And that catches a lot of people out because they'll be like, oh, we're finally making all-time highs again. Therefore we're bullish, we're gonna go higher. And then that catches a lot of people off, and then you just correct downwards. Like that's definitely a scenario as well. But for sure, like just the way the waves look, it does look like we are correcting for sure. Is there anything else I should look at?
No, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good overview.
I think if you look at most alts as well, it's like kind of the same situation. Let's go look at some of the alts. So Ethereum, this kind of looks dicey to be honest. Like it made a new high, but it barely, breached the old high. I do think that it looks like it's going to struggle. Solana definitely corrected. So, I would expect it to go down here to this level of here, like 143 for sure. Maybe a relief bounce. We'll see. What else? AVAX. So the AVAX is kind of similar to a lot of these other coins. Like they're reaching levels now where I would be happy to get long, right? So AVAX is one of them. I think SWE hit a weekly level. I expect to bounce here too. Some of the meme coins for sure. Yeah, PopCat, like it looks like it should bounce here for sure, but I don't think these meme coins will make a new high. I think it'll do something like this, like that, and then that, like that, and then maybe come back down again or something like that. The reason why I think we're not due for new highs in June is also like, we don't have the environment for macro yet. Nothing's really changed, honestly, since last month. There's still some like trade war worries, and we're not getting rate cuts, right? So I personally think that just all things considered, like we're probably due for a very, very choppy June. I think most people will probably be better off just not trading the whole month of June and then coming back like last week of June.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a lot less trades this month than last
Like,
month.
yeah, like if you think it's going to be choppy, the best thing to do is actually just not trade, to be honest, or just take like some people trade, but they do scalps. The last thing you want to do is like, I mean, obviously there's a chance that it can just correct here and then go higher. But I put that as a less likely scenario.
Yeah. If you keep your finger on the pulse, though, then probably the best bet is to wait for a better setup than what you have on most charts right now.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at like total, for example, like I think I marked out this one. Oh yeah, so it hit this daily level and then rejected, completely. And we have this gap here, right? I definitely expect this gap to be filled, at least partially, if not fully. So I do expect this whole month of June to be like that, And then July, like hopefully we get rate cuts in, or maybe the market's just better for macro, and then we start to move up to newer highs.
Well, might be a rough month for everyone. No one really likes it when the market's going down.
I think like they'll come in pockets, right? I think there'll be like periods where things are good, and then periods where like things are bad.
It's going to be the we're so back, it's over cycle. Once a week, probably.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's part of my analysis done today.
I'll pull up my charts. I have a few alts I'm looking at. I will say, for the most part, not looking good, bruv. But I would say, honestly, out of all the alts I've looked at this morning, I think ETH is probably the one that still has the most potential for if there was to be a turnaround. I think if you look at this now, I mean, this is a very generous trend line that I've drawn on the daily. Like, there's other time frames that if you draw this doesn't really hold up. But as of right now, you do kind of have this ascending triangle, which if these do break to the upside, then you can basically take a measured move from the bottom of the triangle to the top. And that'll take you, to the yearly open, which is around 3,300, maybe a little bit higher. But this is also, in a dicey spot right now. So if you did want to see this play out, you pretty much want ETH to hold the level that it's been at for the past few days. You don't really want to see it break below this. This is already a really generous trend line. So if you start, closing below here, the 3480 region on maybe like a 1 hour, 4 hour timeline, then you'd probably want to cut this. But if you can make it back up here, and if you can break above this order block that led to this move down, you're probably going to get a pretty expansive move up to 3,300. Alternate thing that you might see here. Let me turn this on. So if we I was looking at most of these charts with just these indicators. Yearly open, Monday high, Monday low isn't really relevant yet because the Monday ranges are still forming. But and then the 50 EMA. So on the daily time frame, ETH is still above its 50 EMA and it's angled up. So you might see a move down into this, and then if it were to bounce up and reclaim this level around the 2350, then that would probably be a pretty good opportunity to get long. So if you're not really a fan of the ascending triangle, this might be another alternate option for ETH if it does make a move down like this. And then once again, I would say yearly open is probably where I would be probably taking some profits, and then I guess assessing the strength. If it does break above this yearly open, if we do, get a really bullish move, then you could maybe size up once it's, claim that as support. But that's one thing that might happen. The other option, which would be, probably worst case scenario, unless you're ready to short, is if we just had a Bart Simpson. Like if the market is really going to make a move down, you could just have ETH finish off the Bart Simpson and head straight down to this like 1800 level. So that's probably worst case scenario. But it's good to have, have an idea of what the few options might be. Looking at some of these other ones, I was also going to say one last thing for this. ETH compared to most other alts right now is actually in a pretty good spot for its weekly 50 EMA. So if this can just break a little bit higher into the 2600, then it'll be, back on top of its weekly EMA. But you can't say the same for a lot of other alts. So that's why I'm saying if you are trying to long, ETH is probably one of your best bets from what I'm seeing. If we stay on the weekly timeline and we check out Sol is below, also not by a huge margin, but the weekly close, this weekly candle from last week is looking a lot weaker versus ETH. You basically had a full bull or bearish engulfing candle from the week prior, and then some. So that's, not a great sign. So I would not be surprised if over the next couple of weeks, kind of as Fish was saying, we kind of have a bleed out for a lot of June, and this might come back down towards this what is this, the 120 to 130 region, somewhere around there. I could see that happening over the next couple of weeks for sure on Solana. So that weekly chart's not looking great. I would say in general, if you are trying to catch these shorter trades like the scalps and stuff, it's probably best to wait to see what your Monday range is going to be. So basically by the end of today, we'll see where the Monday high was, Monday low was, and then you can kind of use that as your basis for these shorter, intraday trades. So as of right now, I'm not opening anything. Another thing to note, I guess, is that Solana did come up to the yearly open and has rejected off of it. And so that move up to the yearly open is what I was kind of targeting for a lot of alts from when we were down here. And now that it's made that move, you'll have to see if there's any gas left in the tank. Remains to be seen. A few other charts I had pulled up. Fartcoin, similar situation here where you have this bearish engulfing candle after a really impulsive move up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green weeks in a row, which is, pretty close to where you'd expect to see things start to reverse. And yeah, with that bearish engulfing candle, that to me is a pretty big signal that there will be a larger correction. So first level of interest is the yearly open at 93 cents. That's acted as support and resistance. If it were to break down below that, then you're probably coming down to the 70-cent region. So I wouldn't say Fartcoin looks like the best investment opportunity right now. I would definitely say that this looks like a stronger chance for a short than a long, but I wouldn't necessarily open those on a Monday. Wait to see kind of how the week develops a little bit. I was looking at Ondo, real world asset play. This one didn't get anywhere close to its yearly open. On the daily, you have broken this uptrend. So that's also not a great sign, but overall, this one's actually looking a little bit decent compared to a lot of the other alts. I would say that this 75-cent region is probably your support. So, you could either see this start to try to make a move up again from here, or this might, come back down, and then you'd want to see that hold before making a push higher. So that's Ondo. a lot of these are kind of similar. So I'm just running through a few different sectors. Render was a big, I guess, AI adjacent coin. This one, as you can see, it's pretty strongly under its 50-day EMA. Yearly open, pretty far away at this point. Broke structure to the downside. I would say Render's probably in for a bigger correction if I had to guess. Sui, I would say from here, you're definitely at risk of a Bart Simpson once again on this one. If you're currently at a support level, so if it's able to hold this up, that could be, a good spot to bid for a short-term scalp. But, below the EMA on the daily, on the weekly, the EMA brings you back down into this fair value gap. And so I probably wouldn't bid Sui myself, especially for like a spot long-term trade until we're probably at least in the 250 area, or worst case down to this 220. But once you're there, I think it could be like a really, really good opportunity probably. Sui's been one of the stronger coins of this cycle. And then I have two more that I marked out for today, and then I'll pass it off to Nasta or Spam, whoever wants to take it next.
So are you looking to short or are you looking to long?
Honestly, I don't think I'm going to open any shorts on these. I think I'm just waiting for better levels for spot bids. So I'm expecting it to go down, but I'm not going to open anything quite yet. I would say the only one I have a long open on right now is ETH, because I think if we do get a move up, ETH like has the best chart to take a long on right now, but everything else is looking pretty weak, to be honest. WorldCoin, this one I'm kind of intrigued. So supposedly there's like a big unlock that's coming out soon. I don't know what the exact date is on that, and I'm just wondering if they're gonna try to pump it prior to the unlock. This chart structure is still holding up pretty decently. You're starting to break below this trend line, so this might be the point where the longs are getting close to being invalidated. But if the investors do want their bags to be worth more when the unlock happens, I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of the coins. If there were to be a move up this week, I think this one might actually perform pretty well. And I don't really have anything too interesting on this. I was just going to take a look. But yeah, that's kind of my overall picks. So I tried to pick a few from a couple different sectors. So you got some memes, RWA, AI, L1s. TLDR is ETH has probably the best chance, in my opinion, to make a move up. It's got a strong long, trade that is open there. But a lot of these other ones are looking pretty weak, especially on the weekly. So I would say that I generally agree with Fish that next couple of weeks we'll probably see a move down for a lot of these. Alrighty, that's my spiel. Nasta, Spam, who wants to take over the trenches first?
I think I can go first.
Alrighty.
To share my screen. Can you see it now?
Let me add it. All right, you're good.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we just had the AI Vax launch like happened 30 minutes ago. So we had like a 20 minutes window where whitelisted wallets could buy the token. But nobody could sell like for like the same amount of time. So that's why the token went up for a lot, like to 30 million market cap, and now back down to 8 to 9 million market cap.
Oof.
Yeah, the chart didn't really great looking at that like that, but I think it was mainly because some people nobody could sell before. We were only able to buy. Uh, so we'll see, might be a nice opportunity to entry now, but taking into account that many people are received an airdrop, so the selling pressure is still high for the launch. But I think this token could perform well and still go up in the next couple of days. Uh, Wondering if it's a good moment to enter now at 9 million market cap or if it can go lower, but I think I
Wait,
would
how
enter.
much are the pre-salers up?
I have no idea because I didn't participate in the pre-sale, but I've seen many people receiving like an airdrop based on their community bags. On my side, I had like 20K tokens that were, I think it's worth like 10 AVAX right now, and I've seen many people with way more occasions, so it's hard to say. But now everyone can buy and sell, so the price should move up or down, but still staying at the same price for the moment, basically. We are just a big red candle. Um, so I think we'll see for AVAX. We had some tokens that are starting to move up a bit during the weekend. So GOAT, it was like a sleeping token that started going up like on May 29. So a little bit after our last trenches live. It went up to like 6 million market cap and now back to 2 millions. Hard to see if it will bounce since it's a kind of pump.fun meta right that is happening right now on Arena. Like many tokens are just pumping and going down and dying slowly. We talked about the meta about the Italian brand rot that happened on Avalanche. So starting with Emini, I think when we talked about it, it was around that level. I'm not sure, but it went like to 15 million market cap ATH, now back to 4 million market cap ATH. So I hope some people grabbed a bag during the last trench stream because it started pumping just after, like I think 2 or 3 hours after that. So following Emily, we had Vanya, which is like the brand manager of Avalabs that got her own Italian brand route. This one was more like a pump and dump, like it went pretty high just after the launch and now slowly going back down. Less confident to seeing this one bouncing, to be honest. We had a Fed coup coming, but this one didn't really age well. And the coups that came out, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. But it's the same kind of charts. Like whenever we have some Ethereum burn like going up crazy and then slowly going down. So we'll see if the meta about the Evolabs employee is still a thing in the coming days or not. Um, IG last night, I don't have it here. Integrity DAO did like an outbounce last night. It was slowly going down to 27 million market cap and reached 48 million last night. Slowly going down again. But the short is looking quite well, to be honest. Might be looking to enter soon. Maybe leave it.
I think the foundation is accumulating this one.
Good question.
Sorry, alpha.
And lastly, I think I've seen the order on the timeline today, so it's still a very low market cap token. It was live for like 20 days. I'm not even sure if it's coming from Arena, but started going up a bit, but I'm not sure if it's a good play right now. So I think that's a bit everything that happened on the Arena. It was mainly going around the Italian brand routes during the weekend. Integrity DAO that started pumping, and that basically all. But now I think the focus is more on AVAX. Oh, we are back to 7 million market cap.
Venus is doing well. I bought Venus, and Venus went up like Venus is like, oh, now it's 390, but at one point today it was like 800. Yeah, 700.
Oh, I missed this one.
Yeah, I bought this like, I don't know why I bought it, but I just bought it at 150.
I think that's basically all for Avalanche. Yeah, nothing crazy happened during the weekend. Only few tokens. Oh, we had this one, baby jump, but same kind of chart again, pumping during the start the first hours and just slowly going down. I think this one might just still die. Not seeing this one bouncing. I think that basically hold on Avalanche right now. Can let spam talking. If spam is still there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, undo the screen share. All right, I'll quickly do a little segment, 1 minute segment. This will be great for clicking through TikTok, hopefully. So let's do the LFJ 1 minute week in review for crypto news. Some big crypto related alpha coming out. So the first one is right after their big win, Premier Football Club, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG announced their Bitcoin treasury, showing just sports teams, especially a large one like PSG, getting interested into crypto and putting it on their balance sheet. In other news, we had the SEC dismissing a lawsuit against Binance, indicative of a more crypto-friendly administration. And then the Trump Media Group closed their private offering and will use 2.32 billion of net proceeds to buy Bitcoin. And then between Metaplex and Strategy, used to be known as MicroStrategy, over 1,800 Bitcoins, not $1,800, 1,800 individual Bitcoins have been bought in the last week. And that rounds up the major crypto news for this last week. And now we can hop into the trenches for Solana.
Another big piece of news: James Wynn getting liquidated for all 80 million, 100 million, or whatever his account.
Yeah, and then this morning, or maybe it was last night, he posted like a donations link because he claims he's being hunted by like market makers to take all his money away, which
Crazy.
I mean, it's kind of just the downside.
This saga is so wild.
Yeah, it's just like that's why you really shouldn't. Like,
why would you trade publicly with that much money? Is it crazy?
Yeah, like
it can't be real.
If your wallets and everything are just super docs and you're trading fat size and bragging about it, every market maker in existence is going to want to take you down. But to each their own.
Did you see? Did you see what Eugenie from Eugenie, the CEO of Wintermute? He tweeted out actually. Let me see. So Eugenie, it's like a Eugenie with V. Evgeny, wishful cynic. So the founder of Hyperliquid said, but generally, I think Win is just a well-executed HL promo campaign. Well played. So he thinks that Hyperliquid is running, is behind this James Wynn.
That would be crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had their biggest weekly volume of all time last week on Hyperliquid. So,
I mean, Hyperliquid, the coin went up because basically he started gambling big there, right? Yeah, like Hyperliquid went up like from $22, I think, to
36, 38.
Yeah, where's Hype? To like 36, just off the back of like one guy putting in 1 billion of OI.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing that happened in crypto. Like, it wouldn't be that outlandish. Even though in any other industry, that would be absolutely absurd and probably like Wall Street Journal headline news. But yeah, I guess we'll see how that character develops. But hopping into the Solana trenches, honestly, it's cooled off a bit as the market's kind of stalled, and Solana itself is just kind of retraced. I have three main ones to look at. So we have one that's 4 days old, kind of like your medium strength, medium age Solana shitcoin, and it's A16Z with ZE at the end. Just another parody of the A16Z venture capital has been absolutely pumping within the last like 24 hours.
Holy shit.
I've seen it I've seen it pumped a lot, like talked about a lot all over Twitter. Just a bunch of random accounts that like I follow mentioning it.
Which launchpad is
so
it? Because it's not a pump fund coin.
I'm not fully
No,
sure where
it
this
doesn't have
came
pump at the
from.
end.
Yeah. Is there an easy way to find that aside from going on a soul scan? Like that. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the impetus was, because like before that, it was just sitting in like the 1 to 2 million range, and then it just 7x'd. Honestly, more at the peak over the last 24 hours. And a lot of people just talking about it. A little bit odd considering in the trenches there's already been so many A16Z kind of style meme coins, the AI 16Z and stuff like that that are already pretty big. So in terms of like long term, I'm not really sure unless there's some additional news that comes out. But it could be just a good buy in the meantime while it has a good amount of market or mind share on Twitter. People just kind of talking about it and probably looking to ape in. And then for our brand new coins, this seemed to be like of the coins launched within the last day. This seemed to be one of the ones really getting a lot of volume and a lot of good solid buys. So it has retraced down a bit. However, like taking a look at their X.
No face, is that a new coin?
Yeah, it's like a new coin. Just like one of the Solana meme coins that spins up, kind of makes its own community. But what has been a little bit of a trend within the recent Solana trenches has been coins that kind of generalize into like different PFPs. It becomes like a great way to build an initial community, because people will start taking like the different examples here, where it's just like a no some sort of Photoshop within the no face standalone profile, and people just start to use that as their own profile pictures and kind of rally around that. I mean, I haven't seen any that have like really sustained long term, but at least for short term plays, there's always people that are FOMOing in. We can take a look at their Twitter community. So it's got 1.1k members, and a decent amount of people posting like actual real accounts. I mean, usually when you search up most of these groups and just general Solana meme coins, it's kind of the same scammy accounts posting like those chart graphics that are all like pretty similar. A lot of it is just like in Mandarin or different languages. So this one at least has a good amount of real people behind it, posting their different versions of the PFP and rallying behind it. Again, it is still like a fairly young coin, but definitely has a decent amount of upside potential.
What was that drama about? Like, I read some drama with Lexa Pro Trader and Frank D Gods, and something about some sunglasses on Launchcoin or on Believe app. Sorry. Did you read about that?
I didn't see that.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know the details of this, but I just saw a few random tweets, and it was like Frank and a few other like big names all bid this coin within like the first block or whatever, and everyone was like,
so Believe app is like that launch pad for real startups, right? So there's like one guy who is the creator behind the the Deal With It glass sunglasses, like those kind of retro pixelated glasses. So he makes those in real life, and apparently Lexapro Trader was saying, "Hey, DM me, blah blah blah," and then he actually created his own coin, the creator. But people were getting pissed off because Lexapro Trader and Frank D. Gods managed to buy it at like 27K market cap.
Sounds like crime, if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, I mean, just vape cabal all over again. I mean, I feel like it's dissolved a good amount, but those kind of main drama characters are gonna keep doing what they do, I guess.
I mean, it must be so easy to make money when you're that big. Like, you just know the stuff before it launches, and then people will follow your buys and give you exit liquidity.
Yeah, I mean, especially
Yeah, for a while I was like, why doesn't like Frank use a new wallet? But then he obviously knows his current wallet's being tracked, right? Like if he buys with that, then he knows that people will buy after him. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but it does seem like a dirty game a little bit.
yeah, every buy is just like packed in with wallet trackers that are just padding liquidity. Like you could mostly just like buy something, everyone else piles in and just sell like nearly immediately and just chop like easy profit. But yeah, even with like Ansem when he was tweet, like he fully made House Coin like a big and notable coin into like the middle 8 figure range, just by tweeting about it and like basically just creating the narrative about his own bags, which is, I mean, that's, I guess I would love to have that much influence, but at the same time, also just like tough to be on the other end of it.
Housecoin was a funny meme though. Like their launch video was actually hilarious.
Yeah, so at the very least, it's like it's not terribly like blatant and malicious. Like it is a tough position of like if you have that account, can you never post about any sort of meme that looks good and like does it well? But then again, there's
Yeah.
always just like the backdoor like shadow endorsements and people like launching tokens with the plan of giving some to different influencers for them to just chill it, and like kind of use that following as the liquidity building. Whether that ends up being exit liquidity building versus like just actually making a strong and lasting token, I mean it's hard. It's a coin flip to know which one it's going to be.
There was also Loud, that went live over the weekend.
Yeah, that was the one of the more annoying things on the timeline.
I think everyone was pissed off by that. It's like you have to add it to your muted list now. I think you scroll down, yeah, that one with the
Yeah,
logo.
we got it verified. But yeah, I think it was something around like $3,000 that people got for posting. I've kind of seen this debate online of like the people that got it are like, oh, it was five. I put five.
Is it just me, or did he glitch out?
Billboard for things
I think
because it was
it's
essentially $3,000 for the project.
Spam, we lost you there. You might have to repeat yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was like people just kind of debating whether, if I send 5 tweets and it gets me $3,000, like is that good OI or ROI or bad? Like on the service level, it definitely does seem like just like a no-brainer. Like I'll just throw out some tweets, but then it's also how much do you value your account and your following as like using that as like a billboard for another project? It's kind of just like an obfuscated way of paying KOLs. Instead, it's just like micro KOLs kind of valuing on their own. And then it was also like only the top 1,000 that really got paid, and then everyone else just did it for free. I mean, great marketing tactic on their
it's actually
end.
quite. I mean, I can see points to both sides, right? Like, you know, KOLs in crypto is not the same as like an influencer selling, I don't know, yoga pants or anything. Because, you know, when you buy something on Instagram from an influencer, the worst you can lose like $50 to $100. But if you buy a coin from a KOL on Twitter, you know, some people, they put their life savings in this. They shouldn't, but they do, and they can lose. So I do think there's like, they should be a little bit more responsible to promote things that actually should be quality. But at the same time, like, these guys are just farming, you know, you can't blame them, right? They're using the platform to make money. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there's obviously a line that needs to be blurred. Like, if this coin did well, then people would not be shitting on those KOLs. That's another thing. You can't be too results oriented here. Like, if this coin went to, I don't know, 100 million, like, people will say, wow, that's a good shill, right? Like, you did well there. You farmed a good allocation, but you also pushed a product that actually like succeeded, at least on launch day. So I don't know, it's hard to really like come to a direct conclusion here. I think in general, the loud coin, like the whole flywheel effect, was not well designed. Like, when I read it, I was like, well, that's not going to work out very well. And the issue here is, like, I think they wrote a post about it. They did not account for the fact that other pools will spin up on like Meteora, Radium, and they would have lower fees, right? So people are buying this through aggregators, and they're obviously going to go for the cheapest price, and they'll lose a lot of fees, which are supposed to go to the yappers. I think that was the big problem here. I'm excited to see what they do, but like, yeah, I think for now it's kind of not met expectations.
Yeah, even like, so it was pretty big within the Monad community. A lot of their big account guys trying to farm it, and I think from like talking to them initially, like their expectations from this was to get like at least 5 figures, potentially like almost touching 6 figures. Which, I mean, you know, it's kind of crypto, so you never know what happens. I mean, meme coins can rocket up to 100 million in a day, so like, why wouldn't Loud Coin be able to? But um, you know, honestly, for those guys, it's still like a nice little win for them, especially, you know, crypto community is all over the world, so the buying power of what that $3,000 can do can be, you know, drastically different. Like, for some people, that could just be the average yearly income or around there that they would make normally. So it's great for them. Happy for them. Hopefully they sold and not just like waiting for it to be a moon bag, instead of doing the kind of Kaido pattern of slowly bleeding down into zero. And kind of the last coin that has some traction on the timeline, that's a bit older. It's about a month old, which is reaching like full adult, like potentially even gray hair age for a Solana, a meme coin. But it just pumped kind of within the last 24-ish hours, up to 13 mil market cap, or at peak all the way up to 16. So you can kind of scroll out a bit, but it definitely seems like it's been an uptrend. It's just one of those like profanity coins that I mean, Solana just seems to love. Anything kind of like inappropriate is gonna catch their eye. But also, yeah. But from when I looked at this to when, to like right now, it does definitely reverted a good bit. But potentially that red candle is like a great opportunity to buy if it kind of just continues in this sort of upward trend. Um, Still kind of not an old enough coin to really do any sort of effective TA, but um, it is above. It is at like full all-time highs, even at the kind of few days after launch. Which, I mean, most of the coins in the trenches just kind of fade out to zero. So like, for this one to have any continued momentum at all is pretty bullish, as opposed to any other meme coin kind of coming out of the trenches.
What is the standard
Very-
now for like a quality runner in the trenches? Like, is it 20 million, 30 million, 10 million?
Like it's become super cyclical, and just like not necessarily cyclical, but just correlated to how well Solana is doing. Like when Solana is just like pumping, um, like over the last couple of weeks, like kind of with Bitcoin going to 110, the trenches start to heat up pretty rapidly, and then you just kind of get like the 20 to 30 mil runners. I think like way back in the beginning of kind of the trenches season, the 50 million was kind of the bare benchmark to hit to be considered like a really good coin. But now it seems like anything that hits like 10 mil market cap kind of becomes like a quote unquote like real meme coin that has like lasting potential. Um, but it's hard to say like that it's still or it's anything like the old trenches, kind of when Pump Fund was first out, and all of that was pretty novel within the Solana ecosystem.
You still have runners though, like you still get 8-figure market caps. I think it's just getting harder because I don't know, I think before it was like crazy, right? You used to get, 9-figure, 100 million plus almost every other day.
Yeah, and it was easier to kind of like find the winners. Um, like you could just you could search on Twitter, like more than likely in some sort of trenches group chat, like all the big runners would get called at some point. So you could find like you could get them called at like a mil, 2 mil, and then they would run up to 40 or 50 or maybe even 100. um, and that just doesn't happen as much. I think it's harder to kind of evaluate meme coins. It used to just be like if you knew what to look for, you could find it with relative ease just on like the Pump Fund website, or even just like on Dex Screener, and it was like, oh, if Dex is paid, like that coin's going to like at least 10 to 30 million market cap. Whereas now it's just like everything's Dex paid. Like you can't even look at like the holder analytics a lot of times because it can just be like bundled. So it's a little bit harder to fully grasp. And now like even within like the Telegram and Twitter groups that people try to spin up, like if it's a sophisticated meme coin launcher, like they can just make like alt accounts that make it seem like it's a full community and large community that's super bullish on the coin when it's really just a few people that are actually in it. But that's just kind of how the trenches go. Anytime there's just like a super lucrative way to make money, people are just going to capitalize on it and kind of try to extract using those different metrics they know people are looking at until they're kind of not useful metrics to look at anymore. And you kind of have to just adapt from
Yeah, this
that.
is like the history of crypto, right? Like anytime there's a game that's, that has some kind of algorithm, people will just farm it and exploit it to death. And it's up to like the game creators to rewrite the rules and create a new game. You see this with like ICOs and even DeFi yield farming, the V33 stuff. It just so happens like the trenches is just a new type of game.
Yeah, there's a lot of like game theory is just kind of in every aspect of crypto. And so like you really can map it
Yeah.
down, especially when something comes out early. If you can just be quick to understanding the game and like having a solid winning strategy, it can usually be
Yeah.
pretty lucrative.
I mean, it's like these pre-sales, right? Like these pre-sales, Laudio is basically a pre-sale. It's like the whole point is, get into the pre-sale and then basically most of the time just dump it on like the first day. It's an unfortunate reality, but that's like how most of these pre-sale coins have panned out. What are some things to look forward to in like the next month or so? Any exciting things that you guys have found?
Nothing comes to mind, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of seems like we're hitting like the summer stagnation where everyone's just like maybe has plans but keeps them secret.
Nasta, do you buy AI AVAX? I see you tweeting right now.
I did. The thing is that named Final 2.
Dude, your microphone is like static right now.
You sound like you're dying.
You sound like Darth Vader. Are you using headphones?
Yeah, it sounds like half robot.
Yeah, tell us what's going with AI right now. No, I can't
Nasta
hear
has
you.
turned into the AI AVAX.
Can you?
we can hear you. You're still a dying robot.
Yeah, you're gonna have to relog in.
But yeah, I guess within the arena trenches, there's definitely been a lot of groups that have been starting to try to launch coins and get like quote unquote cabals going. But Nasta probably knows more
Yeah.
about that.
Am I still a robot?
Oh, you're good now.
No, you're good now.
Yeah, so I was saying like some people were buying at the launch, and we like bought a token named Final 2. So I think they just forgot to swap the contract when the website went live, and myself including, I just bought a fake token. And some of the people,
Wait, you bought a fake token? What?
I mean, I just used their website. Like Ghost tweeted, going live within a minute, keep refreshing. So I followed the rules.
Yeah.
I bought, and when I checked on debunk, it was like 0.01 AVAX for 250k final 2 token.
Oh, okay. That's what people are tweeting
Yeah.
about. This coin went up to 120 million FDV. What the fuck?
And I think the issue, the reason why some people couldn't sell at the beginning is because like there was a 1 minute cooldown for every TX you make to buy the token, but when it comes to sell, it was only 1 people per minute that could sell, so 1 wallet per minute.
Wait, let me just read it because I don't know how this works. So there's a whitelist, 4 moving parts. Whitelist, 20 minutes. Okay. Man, I'm just generally quite bearish on these like selling cooldowns.
Yeah, but nobody could sell at the beginning because the whitelist wasn't working as it was supposed to work.
So is everything okay now, or is
Yeah, everything is okay now. Just the people that bought Final 2 are fucked up, I think.
Yes, I saw that.
And for the rest that bought AVAX, some probably bought very high since nobody could sell at the beginning, and many people just bought without checking the chart.
Damn. Hey, well, good luck to them. I hope like more teams come to us for launch advice, just because we've seen this happen so many times. Like, I don't know, whoever's watching, like, we're always happy to give launch advice.
Yeah, it's also like pretty aligned to like reach out to a DEX for launch advice because like a DEX wants a long-term, like good market cap, good tokenomics coin that can survive and keep being traded and stuff like
But you'll
that.
be surprised like how little people on Avalanche approach us for these things. Usually, like, if you have a hype token, you know, you have a swarm of people coming to you to like give you advice, and wanting to be an advisor. And I'm not saying all of them are bad, but sometimes you just get advised the wrong things, and things can fuck up. Especially if you've never launched a token, like it's very, very nerve-wracking. And you've never done it before, right? So you tend to trust these guys. I'm not saying they're bad, but sometimes like their advice might be wrong. I've seen this happen way too many times, and sometimes just things fuck up on launch day, and then they're left like having to fix the problems.
I think we're at time. If you guys want to wrap it up, or if anyone's got any additional alpha they want to leak, you can do that now. But otherwise, I
I'm
think
all
this is
good.
a good hour. A good hour of trenches with Joe.
Yeah, thanks for watching. If
No, I'm all
if you're in
good.
the audience, you're gonna catch a lot of these clips on our LFJ intern account, our TikTok page, or YouTube page. So keep an eye out. We'll see you guys on our next stream.
All
Let's
right,
fucking
thanks,
jet.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Let's
fucking
fucking